what we have here is, uh, he said cosmic pattern. And what he did then, this is some brilliant work. He said he charted the incidence of novelty in the of humanity. And what that means is that he, every time that he knew of that where somebody like invented something, he marked it on his chart. And what he noticed was that it followed this pattern, except that, and according to him, he didn't know anything about the Mayan calendar at the time. But what is that up until, he said that this pattern was accelerating, and it looked like it was going to accelerate up to December 15th, 2012. We will have covered only half a pattern. And that in the last 6 days, leading up to December 21st, 2012 at 12:07 p.m., that we would cover half of the pattern, the whole entire second half of the pattern of the I Ching. And we'll see if that happens. But there definitely seems to be an acceleration. And the example I like to give is if you look at throughout recorded history, for the past 5,000 years or more, until 1903, nobody flew. Then 1903, a couple of brothers head out into the dunes of Kill Devil Hills in North Carolina, and put a couple of sticks and some fabric together, and they fly. 66 years later, we're walking on the moon. I mean, that to me is a sort of acceleration, and so then this gets into what's his name, Nassim Harameyn's work. Nassim Harameyn, is a physicist, and his whole he's done a lot of work on the I Ching. In fact, he discovered that all these pairs that are in the King Wen arrangement, that they're all, the I Ching is made out of lines and broken lines, and if you could put together each one of those 32 sets of pairs into them. Each one of those pairs makes up a star tetrahedron. Now that's some pretty amazing stuff. So, but one of the core aspects of Nassim's work is that he theorizes that at the center of everything, every scintilla of space-time and matter, there's a singularity, what we would call a black hole. Like within every cell, every subatomic particle, there is a black hole, a singularity. And if you think about everybody knows what it's like when you're in the bathtub and you drop something small in the bathtub. You've watched how something will approach the drain when the drain is pulled, and we know it at first it doesn't look like anything's happening, but the closer you get to the drain, that it looks like something's going to speed up before it goes down into the hole. Well, that's basically how things react when they're approaching a black hole. Initially, it doesn't look like a whole lot's happening. It takes a long time for anything, but then when the closer you get to the black hole, things start to accelerate to a point of what he calls the event horizon. He's got his video, The Event Horizon. I highly recommend anybody look at. And if you want to know more about that whole thing. So, it looks like, we're certainly accelerating. Now, the question is our humanity, is our time being warped by some sort of black hole or singularity? Who knows? We'll find out. Stay tuned. Could be another Y2K. But anyway, a couple of years ago, last year, I think, 2009, it occurred to me how to construct this calendar, and that the way to do it would be to put the last line, the last Yao of the fourth hexagram on December 21st and work backwards from there to the present. And so that's what I did, and that's why we have the calendar. So we'll see if there's a black hole at that point. And so I'm really excited. This is one of the main reasons why I made the book free, was because, after, it's a lot of work to put one of these together, and I wanted people to see this calendar, and I wanted a lot of people to be paying attention to it, so all kind of come to some sort of understanding. We're all, engaged in this grand time experiment. I wanted for us to all see, what validity there is to this. So, and I've been watching it for about a year, and I have to say it's very, very profound. Once again, the way I encourage everybody you're encouraged to just your own meanings for these hexagrams, and do your research. There's loads of explanations of the hexagrams online you can tap into. But what I recommend that you do is like in this one, on fire, or fire emerging up through heaven. It's like you ask yourself, like, where would I see that in nature? Heaven is it's like air, and fire, being consumed basically by any time that you have a fire on the ground. Fire needs air. It needs wind. It needs oxygen, and and when it does, it can happen. Like action can take place when you have an idea. And so that method I use to kind of like, I look at the hexagram, I ask, what is this? Where would I see this in nature? And what comes to me? Point. So I encourage you to you have license, you have permission to like make up your own understanding for what these things are. And let's see. So after the I Ching pages, I Ching lunar aura pages, here's once again this is the page with all the explanation of how it's a lunar calendar. And then here's the explanation for the keywords for the trigrams. And then this is all that stuff about Terence McKenna and the foundation of the calendar and all that. And then we get right into, this is the real Mayan calendar, right? All the way through. It doesn't end on December 21st. There's December 21st right there. Don't know if this is picking it up because the sun's getting real bright in here. But then it actually ends on March 31st, 2013. At least this. The Mayans keep like 20 different calendars. So one of the calendar that ends on that date, the December 21st, 2012 date. There's conjecture that it already ended last year, or that it's ending this year in 2011 sometime, that it ends in 2013, that it ends in 2014. My take on it is, it's a window, but the long count calendar is what they're talking about. And that's a whole other conversation for another day. So this is the Aztec calendar. It goes to the same, goes to March 31st, 2013. See? March 31st, 2013. And then there's the Dreamspell calendar in all its glory and splendor. And that ends on February 12th, 2013. Then we have the Hindu nakshatras, the list of Hindu nakshatras. Oh, play nice. We have the Arabic manazels, the Hindu Tithis, the list of the 28 Greek muses, and then we get into the pages of explanation for. I said there's 30 pages, but I know that it's actually 30 pages. There's a lot of pages that will explain each one of the counts to a degree, as little as possible, because I'm basically lazy. So then we have, the Sacred Geometry Paintings Daily Oracle Calendar, and each one of the months has a little explanation of the origin of the month. And then we have the Gregorian calendar for 2011 and for 2012, and then this is really exciting. Let's see, what time is it? I don't know. Let's say that it's like 1 o'clock and it's on Sunday. This is the ancient table of planetary hours. Every hour of the week is ruled by one of the 7 visual planets.